Hi, I'm Kim. I'd like to talk a little bit today about childhood traumas and shame and the way we form our identity. In particular, how trauma and shame can lead to a sense of personal identity failure, where we feel there's something wrong with us. So when we experience a shock as a child, something awful happens, the brain decides whether it's going to be a fight, flight, freeze response and so on. We're not sure what to make of things. We're a child in an adult's world. One of the most common emotions, if you like, that children tell me about is confusion. They're confused because they don't understand intimate partner relationships when they break down and mum and dad separate. They don't understand how alcohol can influence a parent's behaviour. They certainly can't understand that a parent had their own childhood that was troubled and it's coming out in the family now. Children have no understanding of these things. And so when they are punished or abused or they're neglected, overlooked, and they don't feel loved, they think there's something wrong with them. And in the moment of a shock, when the abuse or corporal punishment is being administered, children feel this great sense of shame that there's something wrong with them. They don't understand that dad has an anger problem or that mum's struggling with a mental health issue. They've got no idea. The conclusion children make is that they are to blame. In contrast, when you're an adult and you have a trauma, potentially an incident happens where someone abuses you in a supermarket setting, for example. Maybe it's someone that's having some kind of mental health episode, and everyone around you knows you actually did nothing to set this person off, and they will say to you, "It's okay, you did nothing wrong. You're okay. Look, the security's come, they've taken this person away, you did nothing wrong." And then you can go and tell your friends or family, "Whoa, this person kind of accosted me and clearly they were having a mental health episode, but, I did nothing wrong." So as an adult, we kind of can judge if we've done something wrong and whether we actually might feel guilty if we did something wrong, if you like. But children, they've got no idea. In fact, guilt developmentally comes quite a couple of years after shame. Shame's quite, happens early. 2-year-olds can feel shame. But guilt requires you to have some cognitive reflection. So in counselling, we're often working with adults who have had decades of suppressed traumatic responses, of feeling shame, of feeling things are out of our control, that confusion. They become like locked in to our physical being. And when we're with people in counselling, they might be talking about a current incident, but it's really activated or triggered, as some people often use. Their nervous system has been activated because it's resonated and replicated something from childhood. So when you come across clients, adults in particular, who have this sense of personal failure, it can be linked to things that happened decades ago where they felt ashamed because they were confused about what the heck was going on in childhood when the shock of that trauma happened. And as Bessel van der Kolk and Gabor Mate talk about, an incident, a shock, doesn't have to become traumatic if someone is there at the time or very shortly afterwards that says, "It's okay, that wasn't your fault, Dad has an anger problem," or "It's okay, this wasn't your fault, you were just a kid, you didn't know how fragile that vase was, it's okay." Yeah. So trauma happens when there isn't someone there to help us make sense of what's just happened. And anyway, as we know, in counselling, we come across a lot of people where, it doesn't make sense how people can treat one another in families. We know why, but it doesn't really make sense. We just wish it was otherwise. I do hope this has been helpful.